Air Assault. Hello, friends, and welcome to Shero Coffee Chat. We hope you've had a great week, and thank you for joining us today. We've got a full cup ahead, so grab your Shero coffee, because we're taking a spin around the Shero resource table. Plus, we've got your chat, tip, and guest of the week. Let's give a big shout out to our host, Melissa Farmer-Hill, Army combat veteran, host of Shero Coffee Chat, and founder of the Shero Coffee Club, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. And now, reporting for duty and ready to lead the conversation, Melissa Farmer-Hill.
Air Assault! Yes, good morning, friends. I am Melissa Farmer-Hill, retired Army veteran. I am the author of the book, Army Strong Women. You know, a lot of people didn't even know I wrote a book. I did write a book, and it's called Army Strong Women. I am the founder of the Shero Coffee Club, where I amplify the voices of women veterans and women who show up as champions in everyday life. And I do this through our coffee brand, our tea brand, and the conversations that we lead right here on Shero Coffee Chat. I just want to thank you so much. People always want your attention, right? It's just a big attention grab. They always want your attention. And I'm glad you landed here to have this conversation with us. I hope you're having a great weekend. I really do. I can't tell you, the weather is beautiful here in Orlando, and I'm just having fun, and I'm just blessed to be here, right? I can't wait to get back home, but I am blessed to be here at this time. So this month, yes, today is March the 1st. Happy Women's History Month, you guys. This month we are in our Women in Leadership series. And in this series, I really want to get into topics about real life leadership, how women lead, right? How women lead, how we show up, how we handle pressure. And today we're going to lean into effective communication and the tools we need to lead. Now, we all know that, leadership rises and falls on communication, right? Without that communication, you're either going to be with or without that communication, you're either going to be successful or you're gonna fail, and that's period. Now, how we speak, how we listen, how we correct, how we handle conflict, how we protect the culture of the veteran organizations, or we protect the culture of the leadership position that we hold. When tensions show up, communication doesn't have to be soft all the time. Communication is structure, it's authority, it's leadership, right? It's definitely influence in motion. It's influence in motion. And I couldn't think, you guys, of a better person to have this conversation with. And I know I just seen her, she popped in and she popped out, but I couldn't think of a better person to have this conversation with other than my commander. Yes, my Commander Aretha Spurlock. Now, Commander Aretha Spurlock is a decorated Army veteran who served in the Army's Medical Corps. She had assignments in Germany, South Korea, and the Army's Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. Now, she holds a bachelor's in healthcare management, an MBA, and a master's in procurement and contract management. Today, she's serving as the lead contract specialist with the Department of Veteran Affairs, still serving, where she trains and mentors others. In 2022, you guys, I was here to witness this. In 2022, she made history as the first African-American female commander of the Benjamin O. Davis VFW Post 311. Not only the post, but its district as well. So, friends, help me welcome again, because she's been on the show before. Help me welcome again my friend, my commander of the Benjamin O. Davis VFW Post 311, Aretha Spurlock. Yes, thank you.
Look, the devil shall have no victory this morning.
Not today. Happy Women's History Month, Aretha.
Thank you.
It is so great to have you. You know, I absolutely love and respect you, and I just could not think of anyone to kick us off this month other than you. Other than you. So thanks for, making time in your schedule. And I want to get right into it because, a lot of people a lot of people know about the VFW. A lot of people know about the American Legion. They know about these veteran organizations, but it has some perception to it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
It has some perception. And so when they see your face and when they see you lead and we have this conversation, I think that will definitely help them have a better perspective
Yeah.
on what the VFW is really about. So we're going to dive into effective communication. So what does effective communication look like to you?
So, when I first joined, when I first became a commander, I used a few methods in getting communication, getting information out to the members. I
Mhm.
used emails. However, what I found was that whenever I was providing information about an event or asking people to respond, less than 10% of the active members were responding. And so I started incorporating text messaging right into my means of communication, and I got a little bit more hits from that. I remember when I
Mhm.
was in sales, working at Abbott, and there was a rule that if you wanted to get a response from one person, you had to reach out at least to three, right? So
Mhm.
I just applied that same method in reverse, right? So if I had 100 active members, and if I provided information about an event, I was expecting to see about 30 people. And so when I saw that result, that's when I said, okay, this is what effective communication, because it requires somebody to give information and somebody to receive information, right? So that's effective
Mhm.
communication. And so when I saw those results, that's when I knew that something was hitting. Mhm.
Good. Oh, that's awesome. So you use I like the method. So you said if you send out 100 methods, 100 emails or texts.
If there's 100 active members, right?
Okay.
Because there's
Uh-huh.
we're 300 plus, right? We're over
Okay.
300 plus. But unfortunately, like in a lot of veteran organizations, or in some organizations, period, not everyone is going to be active, right? But if you have
Right.
100 active members, right, then 30 of them should respond to an event or a request for information. That's the way that we used to apply in sales, right?
Uh-huh.
If you want a deal, if you want one deal, you got to hit three people at least. If you want
Okay.
one person to respond to you, you got to hit at least three. So
Okay.
I just reversed it.
So for every okay, I got it. All right. So if it's 100 active members, you're going to get at least 30.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
get.
you're going to get
I should see 30 of them walk through the door.
Okay, now is your tool, is it text messages? Is it just text messages? Is it emails? What type of tools do you use?
So right now I am using three different means of communication. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
using email because there are people who are just used to having emails, right? And
Right.
I needed to have a way to provide documentation. So I'm still using that method.
Mm-hmm.
But in this day and age, a lot of people are on their phones, right?
Right,
They're
right.
readily available. And so that's when I started incorporating text messages, right? So that people could get immediate information, right? They could see because most everyone has a phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just recently, I created an app for the post where they could have immediate access to just the events, right? I could send the text messages out, then that's fine. But some people delete text messages.
Right,
Some people don't go back and scroll up.
right.
And so the app was a way for people to just click on the app, and then the events or the things that they needed to see that I wanted them to see would be readily available. So I'm using three different means.
Okay, wonderful. I love the app idea. So if there are any
Mhm.
out there, app idea is something that's effective as well. So we talked about some of those tools that do work. Now, what are some things that don't work in communication?
Things that don't work. Um, I think the biggest thing is lack of I hate to say, if there's effective communication and then there's a lack of communication, right? And so
Right.
if I am expecting, I can't assume that people are getting my information. I can't assume that.
Mm-hmm.
um I do the best that I can to get it out there, but I don't assume that everyone is getting it. So if I see someone, in the post or out and about, I'll still mention it, right? Because I don't want to make an assumption.
Mm-hmm.
um and one of the other things is that I had to remember that when I started sending out text messages, I created 3 groups for the text messages internally, right? I created a
Mm-hmm.
group for post members, a group for auxiliary members, and then the group for friends of Poster 11, right? And so what I realized is that people wasn't sure when I was sending information if it applied to them. So I
Okay.
so I had to remind people that, hey, I have a group for you. So if you're seeing it, it applies to you, right? So I think that's the biggest thing is, when it's not effective is when I make assumptions. That's the biggest problem.
So you know what? Let's talk about. I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't want to make any assumption either. I don't want to make an assumption that people know what the auxiliary is and what Friends of Post 311. So can you just give us a little, just definition of those two organizations?
Sure. So the auxiliary is a subset of the VFW. It's another part of the VFW organization. It is comprised of family members of members who qualify to be members of VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars. So that's the criteria for a post member. You had to have served in a foreign war or in a place of conflict, such as Korea. So that's the qualification to be a post member. An auxiliary member would be a family member, an immediate family member of
Mhm.
someone who qualifies to be a post member. A friend of VFW is simply that. It's a friend. We have a lot of people that are there every week faithfully, right? They support in numerous ways. They come up to the events, they show up, they donate, they do whatever. They're there to offer a helping hand, but they don't qualify. Maybe it's a veteran who don't qualify to be a post member, but for whatever the reason may be, he or she is faithful to Poster 11, right? Or it may
Mhm.
be someone who was not a veteran at all, but they support veterans. They like the idea of what we do, or how we have served, and so they show up. So I put them in a group of friends, and so
Awesome.
those are my groups.
Okay. I love it. So let's talk about, because you were the first woman to be the commander of VFW Post 311. For salute for that.
Thank you so much.
Because we're on our how many years? 2020? Are we 21, 22? That
Um,
post has been VFW Benjamin O. Davis. I think it's like 21 or
Well,
22.
well, we did our 20th year anniversary. That was we were established in 2002.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, so 24.
Oh, 24 years old. And so in 2022, you became the first. Now, tell me, was there any leadership pressure? So for instance, a lot of people look at VFW truthfully as a good old boys network, and it's primarily a masculine organization. That's how they look at it. But how have you been able to be, because look, 2022, we're 2026 now, so effective, without being labeled too aggressive or too soft? How do you communicate your authority? Because it's working. It's working. And I'm going to keep voting for you.
Well, thank you. Well, I mean, you have to, well, not me, but one thing we all have to remember is, at the end of the day, we all have served, right?
Mm, right.
At the end of the day, we have all gone through some sort of basic training. We all know the core rules of being a service member, right? We all know decorum. We all know how to act. We all know those things in our at the core. It doesn't matter what branch of service. There are certain things that we know as service members. And so I take that with me, right? When I'm in the post or when I'm in a meeting, is that I know that we all come from the same, right? I don't try to make it like, okay, yes, I am Army.
Oh.
And there's that friendly competition, right?
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
it's friendly competition.
Right.
At the end of the day, we've all served, and we've all decided to join that post. It was a voluntary action. So that is the other thing that we have in common. We all decided to raise our hand and join and pledge some sort of allegiance to the post and our efforts. And so I just appeal to the things that we have in common, right? And just treat
Yeah.
everyone with respect.
Okay. Yeah, that's important. Now, so sometimes we know the communication tools, those things, it doesn't always work. Sometimes it breaks down. Now, I know, like I've seen where we have had some challenges, and I've seen how you operate, and that's why this effective communication I think is so great for you. But when communication breaks down in those leadership spaces, what would you say is the root cause, or how do you overcome when you have challenges where there is a breakdown in communication? Now people feel one way or people feel another way, so what do you do?
You know what? You have these emails that you send out or messages, and one of the nuggets was communication requires presence,
Mm.
right?
Oh yeah, okay.
Communication requires presence. And so when we are in a meeting and things start to go left, or when we're at the post and things start to go left, there has to be someone that people can turn to and say, hey, who's going to solve this problem? Who's going to be the one to address it? And you can't hesitate. You can't be scared.
Mhm.
That's not where we come from. We
Right.
don't serve scared.
No.
And so it's the presence. It's however I'm seen. My husband, my family always say,
Shout
um
out to Andre and family.
it's so funny to them that there could be a conflict at the post, and it might not involve a post member. I
Mhm.
clearly remember there's one incident that it was not a post member. It was a guest. They were there for a rental, and this guy had to be like 6'3", and he was a little belligerent, a lot belligerent,
Yeah.
and came up right in my face. And so
Oh.
I was uh so I stood right in front of him and handled the situation, right? And so the family is like, why did you do that? Why did you? Why did somebody stop you?
Right. 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 Right.
It's the presence. It's
Mhm.
the presence of the leadership, I guess. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I've seen you in a couple of situations where you just smooth, you said a few words and it just smooth everything out. I absolutely like your leadership style. So how can let's talk about the future of the VFW.
Okay.
So right now, like for instance, right now in the early 2000s, we've seen women join the army. We were like at not army because I'm army too. So women joined the United States Armed Forces. Shout out to Army, but
What?
but and so we were at 14% in the early 2000s. Now we're at 18% and growing. So what does that look like? Why is it so important for women to be leaders and participate in these organizations? And I just wanted to tell you the numbers and what they're looking like. We're at 18% now across the armed forces and growing as women.
So ironically, we've seen an uptick in women members of the VFW as well in recent years. I mean, we've had more women join. Uh, my iPad's trying to give me gestures. um,
Okay.
we've had more women join than when I first became a member.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, we've had women join, but there's definitely been an uptick. So it's ironic how it's mirroring. It's proportional. But I think I had a conversation with someone in the political realm recently, and they asked, "Are you there?"
I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm just letting you talk. I'm here. I hear everything you
All right,
said.
okay. And
I'm
so,
kind of zooming in because it seems like this is going to be a good one. So I want to make sure I
and
get it.
so he asked the same question. How how do we have some, is there any assurance that the VFW in this type of organization will flourish? Will it continue? Yeah, World War II, Vietnam vets, from his perspective, there was a certain pride about being a veteran. And there was a concern that that same pride did not exist with our current generation and members. And was there any risk of the life of the VFW? To which I responded, um, at the end of the day, we served. Again, we have served. And everyone that has gone through and come to the other side alive here still, there is a sense of pride. Those that have gone to battle, gone to war, you know, um, and come out, there is a sense of pride. So I I don't, it doesn't matter how many members we sign up. If we don't sign up another member, I know there's still that sense of pride with every veteran that comes out and come through alive. That's one. Two is that people want to have, those that do join, they are joining because they want to have some sort of connection. Again, back to the presence, right? They want to have a connection with someone who they share something with, right? I remember um, when when I first joined, walked through the Poster 11, there was a sense of family, like Cheers, you know.
Same. When I came in 2017, it was the same thing.
Yeah, it was like family. It was Cheers. It was welcoming. And so and that was part of the reason why I joined. And so I'm thinking, why mess up a good thing, right? Why should I? I don't want to be a big dictator, right? I want us, I want it to be that same sort of connection. And so it was important to me to make sure that when people come through, that they're able to share experiences, their stories, those things that are common, that they feel like they can come in and know that there's somebody else that has had those experiences, has those stories, or either traumas. Maybe they want to talk about it, maybe they don't. But to know that they're in a space, that there is someone there. So that in itself, again, gives someone not just a sense of comfort, but also pride when they look around and see that they are amongst people who have gone through things that they've gone through. So I don't doubt one bit that as we continue to grow, and we are growing year over year, and that's one thing I'm proud of. Year over year, we have grown. Our membership has grown. We've met the mark as far as the goals to make all state and all American. We're on target again. which means that we're doing something right, and people still want to belong. They want to belong. And they want to belong not because they want to join a bar. They want to join because they want to have a sense of community and pride.
Yeah. So that brought up two questions that I want to ask you. And I guess because I belong to VFW Post 311, I'm a little spoiled. I'm thinking, well, aren't all VFWs like this? And the truth is there are not. And how I know this is because when I go out to different events and I talk to women and things like that, they find that, there's spaces that aren't welcoming. So what advice would you give to someone who said, well, I tried my local VFW and I didn't feel welcome. I didn't feel like you said, Cheers. And for those who don't
Mhm.
know, Cheers was a television show that used to come on NBC, and it was about a bar and people just hung out. But I know you're going to tell us that, we do more than bar stuff.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's my second question. But so what advice would you give to a person that said they tried their local VFW and they just did not feel welcome?
So actually, I've had several conversations like that over the years. And so one of the things that I try to tell people is see if you can identify the problem, right? Because in any problem there's a solution. You just have to figure out what the problem is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So see if you can identify the problem. And if you can identify the problem, then try to work through it. And if you can't identify the problem, try to have a conversation with someone who is in leadership, the commander, the senior vice, the junior vice, the quartermaster, to see if between the few of you can identify the problem, and if it requires a little bit more active participation, right, on their part, then try that.
Yeah.
I don't try to sway anybody away from their post or their veteran organization,
Right.
because we're needed everywhere, right? We need to spread ourselves around. I don't believe in being, so exclusive that I want everybody for our post.
Right.
I do like it though. I do like it.
Right.
But in order for us to grow as an organization, we're going to have to continue to spread ourselves out there, right? And not only spread ourselves out there, but have partnerships with other veteran organizations. And the only way to do that is to make sure that they're active, right? Because we're in Richmond Park.
Right.
We can't serve the needs of veterans, on the north side of Chicago.
Right.
But we can have a conversation with another organization to say, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Can we partner? Because the goal is, at the end of the day, we want to serve veterans, we want to serve the community, and we want to do the best way possible,
Mm-hmm.
and as much as possible. So that's what I would say to someone. Find a solution, try to work through the issues, and if you and maybe try to create, a space to where you can make a difference in that organization, in that post, in that American Legion, that you'll be seen, they'll be heard, and make a difference. And then if
I,
all of that doesn't work, come on over to Post 311.
I was gonna say that's once my own journey and my transition out of the military was a little rough, but Post 311 and being part of that VSO team really gave me my veteran life back, my second wind at wanting to serve. It was the idea behind Shero Coffee Club, and so I really am grateful for the VFW. Now I want to get back to the other question, because a lot of people, they think, oh, all they do is drink and play bingo. That's all they do at VFW. It's a bingo hall, and all they do is have a bar and a bingo hall. So can you tell them, is this true, or what's going on? Is it just drinking and bingo?
So it is drinking and it is bingo. I'm not going to say there's not. It is. It is.
Right.
It is. But is that who we are? No. And I would have never joined. I used to tell people, when I first came, our current state commander, Eugene Blackwell.
Shout out
If
to Eugene Blackwell.
Commander Eugene Blackwell, he is the one that recruited me.
Hmm.
And when he first told me about Post 11, I was like, why do I want to join a bar? Right? Because everywhere that I was stationed that had a VFW, that's what it was. It was just a bar, and that was it. They play music, they dance, they drink, and that's it. And I was like, I'm not paying money to join a bar. And then I finally went. And then I saw the things that they were doing. I saw how they were serving. I saw how they were meeting the needs of the community. I saw, you know, it was really amazing to me that, all that they were doing. And that's when I said I want to be a part of that. So currently, our bar is open, and we do have bingo every Wednesday. Doors open at 6, starts at 7. But as I was mentioning about the app, and if people have an opportunity to go to the app, and unfortunately, I'll put it in your chat somewhere, and it'll be there, or I'll put it on your
Hmm.
website. You can share it. But
Okay.
it has on there about, the coffee chats, the popcorn fundraiser, First Friday event. That's a time for us to come together. Everyone has busy lives. They have things going on, but that's the one time once a month that I ask members, hey, let's come back, let's reconnect, let's fellowship. And then, if they come back again throughout the month, that's fine. But that's the one day that we call out and say, come back. We have a vendor pop up. Um, our VFW Day of Service, we're going to be doing professional headshots for veterans and immediate family members. Um, we have a Veterans Resource Fair in September coming up, September 19th, which is a great event, which our very own Miss Comrade Melissa from Hill, you know, spearheads
Yes.
that. But it is a great event. We have vendors, we have the resources, we have the equine therapy. We've had that for every year for the last 3 or 4 years. It's awesome. We have our annual toy giveaway for the children in the community. Um, we have a Commander's Ball, which supports our scholarships that we give to high school students. And we have a cruise, that will be going on as a post, which is also going to help our endeavors as we seek to find a new facility for our post. So, are we a bar? We have a bar. Are we a bingo facility? We do play bingo, but that's not who we are. We are an organization of veterans and family members of veterans serving the needs of veterans and the community. That's who we are.
Wow. I love the app, the app, the app. What's the title of the app? Because they could just download it, couldn't they? Is it, well, you'll give it to me
I'll
and we'll
give you the
share
link.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll give it to me and we'll
Yeah.
definitely share that. So I love that. And so for so everyone has someone, I think, that they were invited, that made them feel welcome, made them feel warm. Yours was Illinois State Commander Eugene Blackwell. Mine was VFW Post member Comrade Roscoe Bunn. Shout out to Roscoe.
Let's go.
Shout out to Roscoe. But yes, that is what our post feels
Hmm.
like. But thank you for I like the fact that you tell the individual to advocate for yourself first. There's a chain of command if you feel as though you're not getting, what you're not feeling welcomed and things like that. And that way, once you do that, you're involved and you can identify the problem. And guess what? That helps other members who come
Yes,
into the that
exactly.
that post in the future, because that's really what it's all about. So another question is, how important is it, do you think, to see women leading organizations like the VFW and other veteran organizations?
I think it's so important because, as you indicated early in the show, that there is this mentality or stigma that VFWs and organizations like VFWs, they're a good old boys network, right?
Mhm.
And that's it. And so there's this mentality among some people that even though, we have women in leadership positions, that we're still a slave to some man, right?
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, there is we're in the United States of America, right? And the military, right? Regardless of the branch, when you go to an assignment or a unit or a post, or air base or station, whatever you want to call it, submarine, when you're there, it really is just like a little subset of the world at large, right? You'll see all kind of people, you'll see all kind of cultures. You're gonna see a small mirror of what it is in the world, in your unit, in your post, in your station. VFWs is the same thing, right? We're just a subset of the world at large, of a military base at large, or a unit, right? Because that is kind of what people see when they come to the VFW. It's almost like that one unit that they went to or was stationed at, where they felt like at home. And so when we have the women in positions of leadership, it breaks that mentality of we are not really leading. We're just a slave to I'm not gonna say a slave to the master, but we're a slave to some
We're
men.
inferior, not equal.
Right.
Or, we're looked at as less than.
Right. And so when we then thrive, right? Not just live, but when we grow, if that doesn't change the perception of those people that have that mindset, if that doesn't, then it's on them, right? It's not on us. So what we have to do as women and women in leadership positions is lead. We have to just do that. Lead in the way that we know how, in the way that we were trained. Because again, we all come from that some sort of training and background. We all have had it. And so when we lead effectively, right? Because we all remember what effective leadership looks like as well. We know what bad leadership looks like, right? So when we lead effectively, we're doing what we're called to do, what we were elected to do, right? Because at the end of the day, we all have bylaws. We all have a role and a position to play. We're not leading by ourselves. We're leading for the masses, right? So I'm not out there saying this is what Post 311 is going to do because this is what I want to do. No.
Right.
I have to know what I'm a voice for the post members. It's not Aretha's post. It's the members' post. I'm just leading by way of what's desired by the post members. So I think when we lead in the right way, it's important. It's important because I think there is a part that think that if we're a woman leader, then we're going to be emotional, or I don't know. I don't know. I just remember years ago, someone said to me, Post 11 will never have a female commander. I won't vote for her.
Well, check, you proved them wrong.
And that same person who told me that is one of my biggest supporters.
Wonderful.
One of my biggest supporters. So again, I'm going back to your tickler. It's presence. It's how you show up. It's so important. It's so important how you show up.
All right. That's the time. You know what? And one thing I did not say, I just wanted to say thank you also for being one of 2026 Shero Coffee Club ambassadors. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Those who are coffee subscribers and you get your monthly bag, you will be seeing in one of those months Aretha's coffee bag. Thank you so much. Thank you for just your leadership.
Can I give myself a kudos as well?
Oh
Look,
yes, please. Come on, let's do it.
um, also named one of Illinois Department of Veteran Affairs top 25 women veteran leaders of 2026. I'm so excited.
I'm excited about that too. Congratulations. That is so huge, Aretha. Well, you deserve it. You absolutely positively deserve that
Thank
because
you.
since 2022, I mean, you were at the post before then, but you became commander. We have been growing, like you said, every year. It's just every year. It's like a good stock, every
Mhm,
year. It's
mhm, mhm.
just it's just growing and growing and growing, and we continue to do things, and we continue to grow. So I'm just blessed to be a part of post 311.
I'm
And
blessed.
now
Blessed to have you a
I'm
member. I'm blessed to have you a member because really, it really is about the membership. If it's not about
yeah.
the membership, then it is no me, right?
Hmm.
There is no me without the members. And so I really appreciate members like you, who have been so inspirational to me. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up as you do. So honestly, it's it's and if it's a shame that not everyone will get to know you, right? Not like I do. It's a shame because
Right.
you are an inspiration. You
Oh,
are you
thank
are.
you. Thank you so much. So I am going to let you have the last word. I'm going to pull myself out of the camera. And I want you to say whatever it is on your mind, anything you want to say regarding just you personally, the VFW, whatever you want to say. So I'll just give you a few seconds for that. Are you ready for this?
I think so. I
All
think so.
right. It's all yours. Thank you for coming to the show. And I'll be back up so we can tell the guests goodbye.
Okay. So I want to give a huge, huge shout out to the members of Benjamin O. Davis VFW Post 311. As I indicated a second ago, um, there is no top 25 leadership if it had not been for the members of VFW Post 311. I would not be on this show if it was not for the members of VFW Post 311. Whatever I do because we do it well as a group. There is no individualism. I don't believe in separatism. We are one family, and that's important. And so I would say, to other VFWs, when you have your post members and auxiliary and those other supporters, but definitely make sure that you keep a spirit of inclusivity amongst the post and the auxiliary, right? We need each other. We function better when we can work well as one group, and we have done that. So I thank the members of Post 11 so much for remembering to keep that spirit. And all I can say is moving forward, let's continue to do those things. Let's continue to do great things. Go. That's it. Just go. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. All right. Thank you, Aretha, for being on the show. And we're just going to say goodbye to our guests. We're going to lift our Shero mugs up. And we're just going to say, keep the chat going on until next week, where we'll have another woman leader, and also keep drinking Shero coffee. So glad you're here.
Thank you so
See you
much.
next week.
See
All
you.
righty.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Hey there, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this week's Shero Coffee Chat. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button so you never miss what's coming next. And hey, make sure your weekday begins with Shero Coffee, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. You can visit us at sherocoffee.com. We'll see you next week right here on Shero Coffee Chat, and have a blessed week.